everybody. Today we have Vince Croci, VC, the MC, with us here today. And he does, you have a lot of jobs. You're not just an MC around the greater Toledo area. You're a healthcare rep, you're a husband, you're a father. So tell us about it. Tell us, how do you balance all those diverse roles that you've got going on?
Multiple personalities.
Okay.
And I just figure out which role I'm in and tap into that one. No, I just, I kind of been that way since high school, just like doing a lot of different things. And it works out pretty well. My full-time job, as I call it, is in the healthcare arena, and just a public service announcement. If you're 45 years or older at average risk for colorectal cancer, please talk to your healthcare professional to get screened for the second leading cause of cancer death.
Yes.
So that's what I do full time.
That was really, really good. Well, not the information. It's not that positive, but can you do that again?
No, it is positive. It's good, right?
Can you do that again? Mm-hmm. Well, not talking, cancer is not good.
No, but
I'm
getting
saying.
screened, yeah.
We don't want you to have cancer.
Yes.
We want to
I
take care of
understand.
it.
I was just saying, it's okay. Everything's fine, Vince.
I did the kit. We did the kit at our house.
Very
we know
good.
what you're talking
I have
about.
the kit. I have the kit sitting there.
Do it.
I'm
Because they do
waiting.
expire.
Yes. Put it in the office where the job's going to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the kit. That's Cologuard.
It's the little guy.
Correct. The dancing on TV.
People dance. They can't
And
see
yes,
it.
so that can be sent to your home, and you can do it. I don't discourage anybody from getting a colonoscopy. That'll do a thorough investigation of that. But if that's not convenient for you, there are other options. But just get her done, as the great philosopher
done.
says.
So go ahead.
So that's my full time. And
That's a hot topic.
yes, and my
It is.
fill time. That's what I call. So I've got full time, and fill time is VC, the MC. Vince Croci, the Master of Ceremonies, is how I came up with that very unique name. How I got into that is got into my 50s and what do I want to do when I grow up? And I found that, anytime somebody gave me a microphone or a megaphone and said, Vince, just go at it, it's this works. Well, what is that a job? And our producer here, Chris, is a runner, and I was going to tell him a story about how I kind of got into it. So there was the Arthritis Foundation I was very involved with. I used to work for Pfizer for 25 years and had some arthritis medication, so I got involved with them, and they would have a 5K every year. And again, that's one of the times they picked up. It's hey, Vince, can you do the award ceremony and things like that? And then I had this thought about going into Emcee, and I talked to Clint McCormick, who's the race director for Run Toledo, which is a division of Dave's Running Shop. And I said, hey, Clint, I think I'm going to start a business here, being a Emcee, a race announcer. And he goes, oh, yeah, it sounds good. Well, give you a try. I've seen you here. Do what it is. So I went out, bought a couple speakers, got a website and business cards, and talked to him and started doing some races. Basically did it for no charge for about a year because I was just having fun. I was doing it until my wife said, you're kind of eating up some Saturday and Sunday mornings here, and that's our time. And so I had to negotiate
Go make some
now
money
so
so
she
she
could
could
go.
go.
I don't blame him.
Go make some money so I
I
could
make
go
it one
shopping.
weekend, and then the next weekend I spend it keeping her happy. So no, but it works out great because I genuinely love it, and it's gone into other things. So I put my full and my fill together, and what do you get? Fulfillment. So
Look
I
at
love
that.
it.
We're going to
I
hashtag
have
that.
lots of fulfillment.
yes. Well,
What if it's just fill? Fill.
Well, then that is
Fulfillment.
you've still got a full schedule as a recording artist, as a shop owner, as a mom, as a personal jewelry model and large glass wearing model here in the
I have an
Toledo
appointment
area.
today to get little windshield wipers on them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I don't think
You're
they're going to be
on
little ones. I think you could just go to AutoZone and take care of that a lot less expensively.
Stop.
Too bad this isn't a video. You could.
Then they could
See.
see. They
Well,
could see the
you
glass. I
know.
think most people that know me do know I wear large glasses.
Well, for the people that don't know you, the millions of people that'll be listening to this podcast once I put it out there that
We need
follow me,
millions. That would be awesome. Yeah.
yes.
So I remember the first time I saw you at your job, your Phil job, was at a purse bingo that Wendy had, and
Yes.
I was really I've been in that sort of industry. You hear a lot of people MC and a lot of people do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, Wendy, who is this guy? He is hilarious. And you really, really are talented and like you don't, what's the word? You don't sound like you're rehearsed at all.
I don't think
it's just so natural. And when did you, I guess that's my question is because it is natural, just comes to you. You're so witty and really funny. Have you always been that way? In your full-time life, are you that funny? Or is there something that happens when you're in front of people with your, adrenaline that then
microphone.
you become funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of why I started doing the MC and public address announcing and things like that, because it's like in a doctor's office, sometimes some of the things I come up with aren't always appreciated in a professional arena. So this gives me a conduit to, but yes, actually in that arena, that's what I do. I try to be my authentic self wherever I'm at, have some fun, bring some joy, especially you go in a doctor's office. Who are they seeing all day?
Yep.
People that have a problem or something to go with. So you can't be in there bringing in problems. I've got a job to do. I've got to share the benefits of what I have to offer to that office and to their patients. I've got to be technically proficient in that. I've got a job to do. But I found that, hey, when I'm myself,
They want to see you more.
people warm up and then listen, and I'll be able to get that message out.
Yeah.
And then to do it to a greater degree, it's just because I always looked at it, I was jealous of people, in the music industry. I was like, okay, these are artists. They can play music. They can sing songs, do stuff like that, or really smart people. They can do that. It's like, what's my thing? And it's just like, I'd like to almost live on the edge a little bit, because I go and I don't have rehearsal. Yes, do I have a script? It's like, okay, Wendy, here's this purse bingo vest. Make sure you announce this and this and this and this. But then it's like, okay, there's the mic, and you're just going to be pulling numbers and
That was tricky because
letters.
he's got 450 women staring at him like,
It was like
you
it
better
was so
be funny.
And you
It
know what?
was.
I thought I knew bingo,
Oh,
but you do the X and the X bingo. Don't call was it letter I?
yeah. Yes, you're right.
Or
Oh,
N.
that's right. B-I-N-G.
N.
Mm-hmm.
The N. So like there's these nuances, and it's like you're getting attacked, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, what am I
Bingo
doing
lady.
up here?
Bingo people are serious.
They're very serious.
So it's like, but I almost enjoy that, because it's like, okay, I'm up here for another hour or whatever. I got to go with the flow, and it's like, and I'm comfortable making fun of myself to a degree. So
And
it's
you do
kinda-
a good job about, keeping it clean, but just on the edge of not clean, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
You're always
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
nice PG because but you're still hilarious.
especially in
Right.
bingo, because there's that one number with a 6 and the upside down 6. See, I won't even say it here because we're at a public radio station. This is G-rated. But, you get that number, and it's like you play with it a little bit once,
Right.
but then you can't make a big deal about it, because
Right.
there may be somebody that doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah, well, our crowd was
number.
fine with it.
Well, your crowd, Wendy, there's like, okay, there's bingo player, there's people supporting the cause.
Yes.
And there are some people that I didn't know out in, where's
Fulton
that at?
County.
Yeah, but what's the town? Like
Napoleon.
no.
Well,
Where was the
Archibald?
the hall at?
that's actually Ridgeville Corners. But
Ridgeville
you're-
Corners.
You're a minute from Napoleon.
I didn't even know where Ridgeville Corners is, much less you'd think it's like, well, if there is something here, it's going to be downtown. No, this
In the middle of the cornfield.
cornfield.
Right.
So I was lucky to find it, and thinking it's like, okay, this will be a relatively tame crowd. But there was that table. of
Yes, we
2
love
women.
them.
Yes, they were fun, but that's what makes it fun too. And
Yeah.
that's why I do this, because I love people. I love talking, and I get into these different areas. We're talking about the running arena. It's like, okay, I'm in there. I've got to know super people there. There's hardcore runners. There's just for fun runners. You've introduced me into the bingo and the music arena. That's why I love working with the two of you, because I've got to introduce some great performers and bands around town and get involved with that. And then I got into the tech arena, which I wasn't really with. I was such in this medical mode that this has given me the opportunity to meet lots of different people in lots of different areas and learn things. And so it's just, I'm having a blast.
Tell us about, do you have any mishaps or funny stories that come to mind that, or
Well, one was we did the in downtown Perrysburg, they had the Zip the Berg. That was a really cool concept for a race. It was 4.3551 miles. What's the zip code for Perrysburg? 43551. Well, they got, let's say, we're going to have Mercy was one of the sponsors. We're going to have the helicopter do a flyover. This is going to be so cool. Well, that helicopter came in, and he flew a little bit low. And there's banners up on these metal barriers and stuff. It blew those down. Kids had ribbons. They're flying all over.
No.
It was scary for a minute. It's
Yeah.
like, you might be using that helicopter to take somebody to the hospital. It was just like it was this
Too much.
tornado hit for 5 seconds. And it's just like, okay, well, we got to go with the flow here. And so that was just unexpected.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, you got to keep going. And I was up at the Detroit Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, and this wasn't funny, but it's just that this is where you got to kind of go with the flow thing. Everybody's lining up. There's a few thousand people ready to go run around downtown Detroit, and somebody like passed out right in this group of people. Well, then I'm in contact with the race director, and it says, time out, we're not going to start until we get this person out of here with the ambulance. And it's like, and nobody else can really see what's going on. So you just got to like,
They passed out
okay.
before the race started? You
Yeah,
think? Wow.
yeah. So
okay.
it was like, all right, and all these people like they're ready to go. We said, hey, we're going to start at 9:00. Well, this happened at 8:54 or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, you gotta go. And that's the other extreme. Here it's like having fun, joking around. It's like, all right, no, this is a major event, and there's a lot of people involved, and
There's timings and all that. Wow.
yeah. So it's, but again, that's what gives you're involved. You're part of something. I always look at, I'm just trying to enhance an event. And I'm not the center of attention. I'm maybe at the center of what's going on. But that bingo is about the participants playing there. The concerts are about the bands playing. The runs are about all these people participating and the people putting it on and the sponsors that are sponsoring it and the first responders that are out keeping people protected. And it's just like, okay, here, I have a touch point with all of them, and I want to make it better for everybody out there. So I try to invest myself into what.
Well, you do a
doing.
great job.
Yeah.
You
Well,
really
thank
do.
you.
So if you could MC anybody's, let's think about this. Any celebrity, dead or alive, anything like a concert or a race. Do you have like any
Or like the
aspiration-
Olympics.
or anything? What would be
Commentators.
your I want to do this thing?
Well, that's an excellent question. My vision for when I started this is like, okay, I'm just going to start. I don't know, how many MCs do you know, or somebody
Yeah.
wants to start a business? It's like, okay, I'm just going to put myself out there and see what happens. And my vision would be to someday be invited to do some big conference where there's top level speakers, and it's like, okay, I'm flying out, and it's like, I've developed a reputation strong enough, like, hey, Vince, here's the plane ticket, here's a hotel room, and I tell my wife, Amy, hey, we're going out to Arizona for 4 days. I'm going to be busy 2 days, but
Go shopping for the other
yeah,
two.
yeah. And
Well,
we're going.
what would this conference be? Let's think this through.
In a perfect world, it would be a conference with like just dynamic speakers in different
You
arenas.
should reach out to Mary Kay Cosmetics. They have amazing seminars
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Well, that's the
with
thing is,
major top speakers
Yeah.
and even famous people
yeah,
sing and dance.
Yeah. Well, and that's
It's
like
like all in one.
to be in the middle of that, to
Yeah.
say, okay, here's this major thing going on. I'm not one of the keynote speakers. I don't have to have this talk, or I'm not an entertainer in the sense like, oh, we got this, here's this comedian coming up, or there's that. It's just like, no, here's the guy. But I get to interact with all those. I get to introduce them and
Right.
probably get to know them a little bit. And I'm sitting there, I'm learning stuff too. So,
Yeah,
no, that's a good idea. Yeah, and that's kind of where the point I'm at now. It's like, all right, I'm comfortable doing about anything. How do I
Expand
go to the
and
next
get
level
yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, that's true. How do you pivot and all those things to the next level? So next question, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? Like, so you've done weddings, right? You're
Yes, I'm a wedding officiant.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about? Or the DJ at the wedding? Because I've given
You're
up
both.
the DJ at the
Okay.
wedding thing
Oh, I
because,
couldn't stand doing that.
well, it's, again, why did I get into this? Because I like to talk. And it's like, okay, at 5 hours at a
can't
wedding,
really talk
you
at the wedding, you
introduce
gotta
the people,
play,
it's the
right?
wedding
Then you're
cutting,
done.
and it's and people want, the music, and I'm not up to speed like, It's like, who's the Sailor Twift person? And it's like, so I don't know, the music that's going on. I don't want to, it's enough lugging
I
speakers
DJ'd
around.
weddings for like 10 years, and I was like,
Yeah. And so it's like, and again, I'm not doing this to make, if I had to make a living, maybe I say, okay, hey, I could make more money doing that. But there's great DJs out there, and I want them to do their job. Now, if you need a little enhancement from a voice standpoint, give me a call. But so I've kind of gotten away from the DJ portion of a wedding, but I'm working with a guy, Mark Simon, Toledo wedding officiant. And I did some weddings before that, but I'm working with him. So somebody needs to get married. It's like, okay, well, that's fun.
Keep
it's usually
that in mind.
15, 20 minutes. And, based on what somebody wants, it's like, okay, I can, go by the script and read that. But hey, you want to have a little fun with that? Like,
well, if I ever get asked to marry somebody, I will
have Vince do
I'll
it.
have Vince.
There you go.
Because that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Well, the one wedding I did, you were talking about funny stuff. So my son's friend's mom, she was getting married. And they were going to have it up at this lake. And, it was small ceremonies, it was behind a bar type thing. And the groom, he goes, well, I'm going to wear a Hawaiian shirt. My best man is. And if you can just wear a Hawaiian shirt, it's like, okay, well, so that's pretty laid back. And the bride, she, when I got there, everybody's kind of drinking, casual, and she's got this nice white dress on. It's like, okay, that's cool. Well, then we get set up to do the wedding, and it's like, okay, somebody get her to come down. It's running a little late. Well, she comes down, and she's this about 5 foot tall Asian woman, and she has Daisy Dukes, a cowboy hat, and cowboy boots coming down. And the groom wasn't expecting that at all.
Oh.
And I think she had a drink or two beforehand, because she's just like, woo-hoo, let's have some fun, So it was like, all right, didn't see this guy. But again, it was
Was the
fun.
groom mad?
He was like, he was very solemn, like, this is, it's important to him. I'm getting married and stuff, and so he was a little like, well, let's have some fun, but
Yeah, she wore the wrong
She
costume.
started
She
too
probably
early.
should have had a grass skirt on and a Hawaiian,
That sounds better. Right.
to match it.
Well, that would, it was a very,
she should have matched.
it was a very thematic, diverse wedding. Let's put it that way,
That
with
sounds
cowboys and.
So back to the superhuman power, superpower. So all right. So
I
let's
guess I didn't divert you from
That's
that
okay.
question.
Wait,
'cause
is that our new question to people? What would your superpower want to be?
No, we still have to ask him the other one. But I just want to know, like, if you so would you like to be able to read minds? Would you like to be able to? I don't know. With Bridezillas, you'd want to know. I don't know what you'd want. But I don't know. Like
that's quite the question.
Like I don't know.
Well, when you're so blessed as I am, it's hard to think of like, well, what could I add?
I mean, you're already a superhero.
Okay, maybe a dose of humbleness, but
maybe you want bigger glasses like me.
He probably would like to teleport.
That's okay. I'd like
teleporting might be good for you. In your 5K situation.
Okay. I guess ask the guest a question and tell him.
Vince,
I've thought all the superpowers. I think this one would be good for you.
You know me well enough that I was going to tell you the answer to your own question.
No, okay, Wendy and I are going to be quiet and we're going to let you talk. Ready, set, go.
I'm kind of a sensitive guy, and I need to come to grips with it.
Fine.
Actually, now that you mentioned that would be good, because it's like, I want to be here and I want to be there, so get around. So yes, I guess.
Because I picture you when you do hops for me, and you're hopping.
You're
hopping. I'm like, he's got to go stage to stage, and he's got to run. It'd be nice if you could just teleport.
Well, and that would be good, because a new thing I picked up. I reached out to one of your past guests from the Arctic clams.
Yes. Yes.
Clams.
I love it.
It's just clams.
There are more.
It's a singular clam?
It should be multiple clams, but you're right. It is Arctic. The Arctic. Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Now
Arctic clam.
Or maybe it's the Arctic's clam.
Anyway,
forget the S's.
We'll ask her later. Here, let me Google it.
So I reached out, because I introduced them at one of the Sylvania Fall Festival events, and Nicole's in charge of one of the most awesome events in town, Acoustics for Autism. It's
in the United globally.
It's actually global now. Yep.
So,
killing it.
Here's a thought I have to do, but I'm going to start small and see where it goes. So I reached out and said, hey, I'd like to present, help. And so I'm going to be the MC for the Conant Street stage. And they've got about 6 bands, I think, during that time period. Introduce them. But my ultimate goal, and this would we were teleporting, or I would have to have like somebody help me. I was thinking, what if I introduced every band at every stage
Not
that
possible.
day. No, well,
Couldn't
Well,
do it.
it is if you have Chris help you.
well, yeah. I mean,
It doesn't
would,
have to be live, does it?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about getting on each stage and introducing.
okay.
So I
Yeah,
don't know.
that'd
No,
be
it may
rough.
not be, but to see like,
We can
okay,
get
That would be
how
awesome.
many
Yeah, it would.
could I do?
You
Because
could-
okay, this stage starts and like, they're a little behind. Okay, run over here and just. I mean, just
And you,
and-
you're in shape. You definitely could
yeah,
do it
so it'd be-
physically.
yeah.
I mean,
just
I'm
don't
just
know.
thinking that you need to come to Buster Brown's around 5. I
Yeah,
forget
that's
what
when
time,
Lori's
but
playing.
I go on and I think that I have like a, what is it called? Look, I'm privileged.
You are. You are. You have
I don't know the
seniority.
word. Yeah, that's what it
Seniority,
is. Like
yeah.
I should have Vince.
You should.
I should.
You know what?
I earned Vince to come announce us.
Well,
That's what I'm
did
saying.
introduce you at Fairways when you
Yes, you did.
when Let's Give Them Something to Talk About was playing there one night, and all the people in the audience were like, why do they have somebody introducing them?
Because
we're
we're
at a little
special.
we're eating
see,
dinner.
that's what you gotta
there's
do.
just some background music.
I
and
love
it's-
it. You're gonna do it. So you gotta check your schedule at 5:00. Can you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what time we're on. I
We're at
forget.
Buster Brown's.
Buster Brown's.
It's right.
stage.
You're right. You're right there. You literally
And by the
have
way,
to go
it
Wait,
is
where's
Arctic
Buster Brown?
right
Clam.
across the street from the Conant Street
No
Stage,
S's.
like literally 50 feet.
Oh, I see what
You're
you're saying.
fine.
Okay, that day. All right, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see the schedule. So, yeah.
Did you hear me? There's no S's. It's Arctic Clam.
Arctic Clam.
And I'm really glad I was right since I am a local musician. I should probably know my fellow local musicians' names.
Well, I like
of
what he's
their band.
thinking though. There's
Yeah.
There's multiple clams.
There are lots of clams
Lots
in
of
the
clams
Arctic
in that
Clam
great
group.
band. We love them. Love them. Love them. So you're gonna ask him our
Well, and did you? Well, before you get to it,
okay.
because I listen to this podcast regularly, and so I was,
You're the
prepared-
one.
Thanks.
He's the one.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
prepared for your typical question, but then you said on the last podcast, "Oh, we got to switch it up for this year."
And that's why I thought she just
So-
thought about that
so
on her
is-
own, about your superhero.
So is
book.
it a new?
No.
So is there a new question?
Oh.
No, we're sticking with it.
Oh.
Hey, listen. Since
I
I,
thought
told
I
you,
was- I-
Vince, since I told you your answer, why don't you tell us what the question should be?
Hey, Vince, VC the MC, what makes you our cool friend? Well,
There's
first off, I'm a little disappointed. I got to get this out there. I thought it was Hot Pockets and Cool Friends, and I was expecting an array of pizza treats while
oh my gosh. Next time.
I did this.
Ham
but
and egg.
Hot Topics does make more sense. And I'm glad that I've graduated from lukewarm topics and semi-cool friends to gain the stature to be invited by you on this. And the reason I'm your cool friend, I guess would have to do that there's at least one person not as cool as either of you that makes you feel cooler. Because the fact that, like I said, I'm considered cool enough to be on here is not something I ever, in third grade, I was like, geez, I hope when I grow up I can be on a podcast someday. And,
was
but
it.
to be on the cool friends one. So I think that's one I'm also willing to, at Wendy's beck and call, wherever there's a stage that she's in charge of a fundraising event, be it bingo, a concert out in, again, she picks these places that I didn't even know existed, a former golf course that is now a steak place and
Yes.
restaurant to do a.
She does find
He's going to
Very
Pioneer.
different,
He's going
yeah.
to Pioneer, Ohio. Do you even know where that is? We'll get you. We'll get you directions.
Yes.
Fine.
You can't be Wendy's cool friend without having GPS.
That's for
because
sure.
you will never be able to get anywhere she's at.
or time to just do whatever she says.
Yes, yeah.
She'll be like, "So Lori, we're gonna do da 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 da," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then I'll tell people I live with what I'm gonna do, and they're like, "How did you end up doing that?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, Wendy got us into it," or I'm like, "What did you get us into now, Wendy?"
But it
But
it
it's
is
always fun.
Yeah,
It's
that's
totally
the thing.
fun,
It's like
yeah.
like
Life is not boring with Wendy.
the Hops for Hospice and History out at Sauter Village. That was, it was again great music, but
You're
the
doing that
venue-
again,
The
yep.
venue was fantastic. So, yes,
So Speaking of all those events, do you have a website that everybody can go to find out where you're going to be?
vcthemc.com. I don't know if I have everything on there that I'm doing. I should probably do a better job of.
I mean, that'd be
keeping
great
up.
because
I
mean,
do.
after this podcast, people are going to be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you got to know
Well-
Where
he
can I
is."
find him?
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, ladies, but people don't usually go to events like, who is the MC there? Oh,
You know
But you
what?
know
Bob's,
what?
Bob's
Right.
Magoli. He's a terrible MC. I'm not
No,
going.
but you
I
want to
don't
know
care if
what?
the bands
That's your
are
new
good.
thing.
What?
People are going to start looking.
And
for
I
where
beg
you're
to
gonna be.
differ
Well,
because
yeah.
my crowd have been asking for you. Honestly,
Really? Wow.
yes. The hops
Wow.
people, bingo for sure. The ladies are like, "Are you bringing that one guy back?" I'm like, "Yep."
You make
Always.
a lasting impression.
You do.
Okay, well
so-
that warms me heart.
yes,
warms
honest,
my heart.
I'm not blowing smoke.
Okay,
It's the truth.
well, I have because that's my goal is to facilitate fulfillment of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what I'm doing, I feel like okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but it only matters if it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
positively impacts other people. And if you're saying it does, then thank you very much for
definitely
that.
does.
To
It
hear that,
does.
I enjoy it.
I know. Well, we're really glad you came. Will you come back? Next time we'll do a video. We'll do a live.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
he's
really
like-
I don't really think we got into deep introspection on me because I think
Well, we have plenty of time. I mean, Chris loves to edit. What? Is there something you want to tell us?
Chris is
She's
saying
like,
you pay me 1/4 of minimum wage to do this podcast. It's a public service that I provide, and now you're trying. No, I was
Next time
kidding about
we'll get deep.
deep
We'll-
introspection. I'm pretty much a shallow end guy. Bowman Pool, where Wendy would be very familiar with. That's what was interesting about us, Wendy. We grew up probably a couple miles from each other. You were good friends with many
A lot
of
of
my
the same people.
classmates from Blessed Sacrament School, and then we never. I
back
don't think we met. I don't know.
I gotta believe we met. I always thought you looked familiar. I'm like, I know, but
Yeah.
my high school years were
Yeah, but see,
probably not.
But see, this is what's
don't
interesting.
know what I'm
I
trying to
wasn't
say.
cool back then. So Wendy, yeah, I saw you over there, Vince, but I'm not going to
No,
interact
I
with
would
you.
never. No.
What do you? You
no.
run track and cross country?
No.
Not cool enough for me.
oh, Wendy's not.
No.
Where's the football
absolute-
players and guys in the band?
Band for sure. Parking lot probably not a
my
lot.
God.
No.
She was
It was the
naughty.
80s. I mean, come on.
She
it
was
was
very
different.
naughty.
I wasn't
Well.
naughty. I just had a lot of friends that were different. and I
Okay.
just-
Well, and see,
And you
that's
still do.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like I was never like really naughty. I had an incident or two here or there, but matter of fact, so here was one of my claims to fame. I went to Central Catholic, graduated in '83, and I was Bishop's Cross runner-up. I was the second holiest kid in a class of 360
Stop
people.
it.
Yes.
That's really impressive. I went to Central too.
And she got kicked out.
I did.
Wait,
Because
I
she was
graduated-
naughty.
I went there my sophomore year, so that would have been 82.
oh, so I thought we were the same age. I
I'm
thought
a
you were in '83.
year older.
Okay. So you were there. So we were there at the
Yeah.
same time. So again,
Great school.
proof that Wendy blew me off even in
That was a big
high
school.
school. I thought we just lived in the same general DeVoe Village neighborhood, but
Nope.
same school. And
Should have stayed at. I mean, it's all good. Started in Central was fine, but Central was such a great school.
yes,
Yeah,
no,
it was.
I lots of great people and things there. So,
Well,
But,
thank you
yes.
so much for coming.
Yes, thank you
well,
very
thank
much.
you for having me. This was
Yeah.
fun. I appreciate everything you do in the community in Sylvania with the hip to the groove, and everything you do for the hospice out in 14 counties I hardly ever go to.
You're going to be going to them this year.
To the singing you do at Fairways and Buster's Brown and everywhere, Lori, with your
12 bands.
wonderfully talented musically and audio husband, Gary, who I'm going to
Yes,
have
he's
make,
very good.
since he made the theme song for this, I need to have him make a walk-up song for me when I do events.
Oh, he'll do
Yeah,
that.
gonna
That's a
have
great
it.
do need
idea.
that.
I'm going to have it personally produced
Yeah,
by
That'd be
him.
very cool.
there you go.
Yes. so.
Well, we'll see you next time for round 2.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Vince.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us today on Hot Topics Cool Friends. I'm Lori.
And I'm Wendy.
We would like to give a special thanks to
Chris Pfeiffer, our executive producer, and
Gary Wagner, who wrote and produced our music.
If you guys have any questions or comments and you want to listen to more of these wonderful episodes, head on over to wgte.org/coolfriends or anywhere you stream your podcast.
And remember
To thank your local business owner.
and go out and hear a local musician.
WGTE. Voices around us.
WGTE is supported in part by the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated by the City of Toledo and the Lucas County Commissioners and administered by the Arts Commission.